What's going on, everybody? This is Doodle, and have some pretty good news today that actually nobody's talking about. So we're all really terrified of Donald Trump becoming president, and yeah, okay, I understand that. And we're also terrified. Some of us are terrified of Hillary Clinton becoming president. Actually, most of the country is terrified of either one of these people becoming president of the United States, and it's kind of getting lost in all this. But honestly, the cool thing that we've heard a lot of shit about voter fraud. We've heard a lot of talk about coup d'etats, where maybe the Republican Party will overthrow Donald Trump, and he's the even though the voters voted for him, maybe they'll overthrow him anyway. Or maybe the Democrats will destroy Bernie Sanders purposely. The establishment will purposely destroy Bernie Sanders, and Hillary Clinton will assume her place on the throne in due time because of what the establishment wants. The establishment picks the candidate. The voters vote for the candidate, or so we think. That's the argument. But I've seen a lot of bullshit that goes on since this 2016 election, and it opened my eyes to American democracy in a really, really, really bad and uncomfortable way. I got you. I'm with you. I'm with you on the vast majority of issues, except for this one. When you tell me that the votes don't matter, I need a stronger argument. Because from what I can tell, in 2016 has showed me that votes actually really do matter, and that the establishment really doesn't choose the candidate for the country. They don't. We choose our own candidates, as far as I can tell, and the establishment sucks it up for the most part. They get a chance to choose who they want to run the party, but by no means does that mean that that person will win the election. That is a point that most people leave out. Yes, they have a voice just like we have a voice. They have a very powerful voice, a very influential voice. But we also do. But but our voice comes in large numbers. Their voice comes in large paychecks. So it's a different type of voice, but the same influence in the end. So my point is that 2016 has taught me, and I think should teach all of us, that our votes count. And this is why. The establishment hates Donald Trump. It hates Donald Trump, but with every fiber of its being, and they hate him because he's an idiot, because he's making them look bad, very terribly bad. And not only that, but he is quite literally destroying the Republican Party. I made a video a couple years ago titled Faith in Humanity Restored, where I was talking about how Obama just enacted healthcare reform, etc., and that the Republican Party is dying. The Republican Party is dying, and that it's well on its way out. It's probably, if this was a phone update, it's like 95% complete. The update is 95% complete, possibly 96% complete by the end of this week. I mean, this shit is done. Donald Trump has completely obliterated the Republican Party, and he did it without their approval, without their consent. They don't approve. Most Republican voters hate Donald Trump, but those just happen to be the Republican voters who didn't vote in the primary. The voters who voted in the primary fucking love Donald Trump, and that's why he's going to get the nomination. Votes matter. Votes matter in this country, and they are counted in this country. Another thing, even though the establishment has all this money, they could not stop Donald Trump on both parties, Republican and Democrat. have not been able to stop Donald Trump from securing the nomination. It is a done deal. He is the Republican nominee. Says, I think yesterday. Since yesterday, he is the official Republican nominee. Can't go back. Can't take it from him anymore. The voters made it impossible to take it from him. They said, we want him. Fuck you if you don't want him. We're going to elect him. Yeah, he's going to rip the part. Yes, the establishment knew that Trump makes it impossible almost for you to endorse him. Because if you're a Republican and you don't endorse Trump, then it looks like your party is ununified and disorganized, and that there's an enormous fracture in the party, which there is. So there's a lot of disunity when it comes to not endorsing Donald Trump. But if you do endorse the presidential candidate for your party, if you do endorse him, you're going to be painted as a racist, as a lunatic, as an idiot. He's an idiot. He's an idiot on many topics. Climate change. He is a deep, deep, deep conspiracy theorist. There's conspiracy theories that are true. Okay. But when I say conspiracy theorist, I'm talking about some shit that is not true, that is obviously not true. Donald Trump believes that climate change is a hoax that has been manufactured by the Chinese government to raise taxes. That is the type of conspiracy theory I'm talking about. When you start saying that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are actually reptilian shapeshifters, that's a real conspiracy theory in the world. That's what I mean by conspiracy theorist. Donald Trump is a conspiracy theorist. When you start saying Barack Obama is a Muslim, etc., that his birth certificate is actually not really his and that he faked it, etc., okay, that now you know what a conspiracy theorist is from my point of view. I'm an atheist. For most of the world, I'm a conspiracy theorist because I think religion is the conspiracy theory. There is no God. There is no devil. There are no demons and angels. There's none of this there's no fucking miracles. You cannot drink miracle water and cure your cancer. Faith isn't going to do shit for your life. Or faith in God is not going to do shit for your life. Maybe faith in yourself. Faith in humans to do the right thing. That'll help you. But not faith in all this other mumbo jumbo. I'm a conspiracy theorist in a lot of religious people's eyes. I accept that. But I know I'm not wrong about the belief that there's no God. I mean, it's obvious to anybody who's looked into it. But, push that aside. Push that shit aside. I don't have anything wrong with conspiracy theories. I have an issue with unthought out conspiracy theories. Donald Trump is a very undeveloped thinker. Very undeveloped. My God. He has no commitment to what is true and what is not true, which is what you need in order to be a good decision maker. When we elect a president, we are trying to elect who we think is the best decision maker in the country regarding political and economic issues. Political encapsulates social issues, militaristic issues, foreign affairs, and sometimes economic issues as well. So, who is the best decision maker in the nation? Who is in politics? Or, I could say it like this. Who is the best decision-making activist in the country? That's who we're trying to elect as our president. That's who you would want to elect as your president. Identify that person, he or she, and pick that person to be the head decision maker in chief. Donald Trump is far from the best decision maker in the nation. And he's certainly no activist. He's definitely not a fucking activist. So he's already got that not going for him. Got a lot of things not going for him. But anyways, back to the point, kind of going off topic, but still, the point is that as bad as this guy is, and as bad as the establishment knows that he is, they can't stop him. And so that shows us that the only reason, and we know, the only reason they couldn't stop him is because he had the votes. Honestly, there is no other reason. The man just had the votes. Bernie Sanders. Let's go on to the Democrats now. This is the second point of why democracy, why votes really do matter in this country. Hillary Clinton had this shit locked up years ago. Let pundits and other Democrats tell you. They knew that there wouldn't even be a challenger for the Democratic nomination. Then along came a unknown senator named Bernie Sanders, who is quote unquote a socialist. He's not. He's a democratic socialist. It's essentially a capitalist who believes in free healthcare and free public college tuition and raising the minimum wage. They're capitalists. They just believe in some of those things. Not a socialist. A socialist does not believe in capitalism. Anyways, but this guy comes out of fucking nowhere, wins over 20 states, and the establishment, even though they hate him, even though they ignore him, they can't stop his winning streak. I'm telling you now, in the Democratic Party, it would have been the exact same story had Bernie Sanders won the amount of votes that Hillary Clinton won. He simply didn't do it. He didn't do it. There, you could talk about that independents didn't vote as much as they should have been able to vote. Fair point. But the fact remains that if they would have voted, she would have won. Is voter suppression a real thing? Yes, it is. Is voter suppression a real thing because votes don't really matter? No, that's actually contradictory. You can't say that votes matter or that votes don't matter and also believe in voter suppression. They've suppressed votes because they matter, because they make a difference to the outcome. I'm sorry if the camera is shaking. I'm kind of worked up. But because the votes make a difference to the outcome of an election, people commit voter suppression. That's how it goes. So, and now, here's the third point. Not only did Bernie Sanders give her a real run for her money, a real fucking run for her money, but he also made her shift her positions on very key issues. For instance, and he also changed the Democratic platform. He made an enormous impact on the new Democratic platform. People say it doesn't actually make a difference, etc. That shit makes a difference. Oh, it matters. It matters. Maybe I'll make another video about that later on. But he influenced that in a very large and positive way. And he made her, because of Bernie or Bust. Because of Bernie or Bust. You know what Bernie or Bust means? It means that my fucking vote counts. And if you don't think my vote counts, I'm not giving it to you. If you don't think my voice matters, I'm not voting for you. Period. If you don't think my opinion matters, if you don't believe in raising the minimum wage like I do, you won't get my vote. If you don't believe in free healthcare, you're not going to get my vote. If you don't believe in a free public college tuition, you won't get my vote. If you're not going to do shit about climate change or fight for a carbon tax, which is the largest weapon against climate change that we have in fighting against climate change, no greater weapon than implementing a carbon tax and ending the subsidies, but mostly a carbon tax. If you don't believe in that, not voting for you. That's what Bernie or Bust means. And you know what Hillary Clinton did? She responded. She responded like she always responds. You can't sit here and tell me that votes don't matter in this country, but at the same time you accuse Hillary Clinton of going with the wind. doing whatever will win her votes and get her elected. Those two things complement one another. She shifts her positions like I change underpants because votes count. She knows they count. So she shifted recently. She shifted her view on healthcare. She now says that she is considering a single payer health plan. She now says that she is listen, regardless if she's really considering it or not, it doesn't matter. The point that she feels like she has to lie to Bernie Sanders supporters to make them vote for her proves in and of itself that votes really do matter in this nation. Otherwise, why the fuck would she care? Why the fuck would she even care to pander? Proves the case. Votes matter. She has shifted her position on free public college tuition. So she said about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks, that what she wants to do now is make it so that any household that makes I think $120,000 or less will be able to send their kid to college for free. Any public college for free. Boom. That's it. He changed the Democratic platform to say that they all support raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. They jumped over $12 an hour. Fuck Hillary Clinton. They jumped over $12 an hour and went straight to $15. That's in the Democratic Party platform. So now what you're going to hear a couple years from now and not even a couple years, like immediately, what you're going to start hearing is more and more Democrats, Democratic governors, Democratic legislators coming out and saying, yeah, I support a $15 minimum wage. And you know what what's going to happen? We're going to get it. Because the more states get $15 a minimum wage, the more people will feel emboldened to rise up and ask for $15 and demand a $15 minimum wage as well. That's going to happen too. It's going to happen because votes matter. They're going to listen because votes matter. So, all this bullshit. Another thing too. Here's the fourth point. This is why also votes matter. The Republican Party would not be scared shitless of Latinos, of isolating, or not isolating, but offending Latinos in 2012 when they lost to Barack Obama. They wouldn't have been shitting their pants in 2012 when they lost to him in Atlanta. 71% of Latinos voted for Barack Obama in 2012 against Mitt Romney. They were shitting their pants. Oh my God, I could not believe it. But they were shitting their pants because of the demographics of the nation. They need the votes of Latinos. The actual votes. Not the symbolic votes. The real fucking vote. The vote count. They need that shit in order to win. So if you don't think that American democracy is dead and that votes don't count in this country, you're wrong. You are wrong. And you should be happily wrong about it. That is great news. That's great news. It's great news for the country, and it's great news for the world, because America is one of the most influential countries in the world. And so it is good news for all of us to know that democracy is not dead. It is hurt, it is injured, it may even be bleeding, but it ain't dead. And that's something to be happy about.